Even got really, it's going to fall over. Are you going to sit here? You sit here. Okay, stay there though. So, someone that I haven't heard of before, or that I wasn't aware that I might have been aware of, is a person from Australia. He's an older man, so he could be maybe in his 50s. And okay, come on, you go out, please. Bye-bye. Maybe in his 50s. Sorry, just got distracted by my dog, but hello. So people may have seen this person talking. His name, I think, is Downunder diver Dan. He's had a relationship with Jared Lysack of AWP infamy, or Hall of Shame, and he's coming out, look, I guess if we could say in general, being a victim's advocate for adult men who might get overlooked as people who are carrying burdens and suffering because of history of abuse and maybe violence or neglect or rejection, etc. in childhood. Hey, MK Ultra, how are you? Were you, Mark? I didn't see you there, but I wasn't able to watch the chat very closely. Were you just in allegedly with Brittany? Did you see Down Under Diver Dan? Have you seen his kind of reaction video and his goodbye? This is a bit of a tragedy. Okay, so I'm going to try and get this all out in just one thing. So Down Under Diver Dan he's an older man than Jared, I believe, or maybe he just looks it, because this man tragically has been suffering a terminal illness, and he started making YouTubes of his adventures so that, so he's leaving a legacy for his family. This is a beautiful thing to do. And he thought he was memorializing himself somehow for others to, so that he can teach in a way, so that he's always going to be there for them in a way and with them in a way. It's what a sad, poignant, lovely thing, right? So many things. And you're hitting goofballs around. When I hit them, they're goofballs, yes, not golf balls, goofballs. I do like to go out to a driving range and just whack balls out onto the hill. But, then again, I like going to gyms and punching bags as well. Not that I've gone to a boxing gym for many years. So he was associated with Jared Lysack and AWP. There's lots of videos on his channel with AWP, and he clearly admires Jared. He's coming out as an excusionist, oh look, Jared's just trying to make money for his family and yeah, okay, sure, fair enough. Dan's a Christian who has worked as, this mental health counselor, or as a support worker, as maybe a lawyer. Someone needs to be on men's side, of course, right? But what I find with people who are a lot of times men who are helping victims as adults is that they take their advocacy role so seriously that they just excuse culpability out of all existence. Okay, so they, hi Bets, so they, they're just trying to absolve every negative action that these people might take, because they blame just every single thing on the abuse, right? And he does bring up a point in his short statement that, we know that children do commit against other children. And I've told you a story of my childhood before about neighbors and things. But yes, that's true. But the majority of people who were abused that way as children, they don't grow up to propagate the sexual abuse. Okay, the majority do not, even if they at some point have been inappropriate with other children. 17 is not a child. 17, well, Jared should be tried as if he were an adult then. I want to know, what I wanted to say was, I want to know, does Downunder diver Dan realize that he has probably contributed to Jared's downfall? Imagine the conversations that this person, this great social worker, this great compassionate Christian has been having with Jared, whom he doesn't realize is a complete psychopath or narcissist, whatever he is. This guy's really delusional and thinking that he's got a real relationship with Jared, one of trust, that maybe he's played some sort of healing role with Jared, that maybe he's going to be, the person that opens everybody's eyes about the truth of Jared. He's not guilty. No. So, and he doesn't realize that, look, if he has ever said any of his feelings to Jared about abuse in the last few months or whatever, he's probably completely helped Jared. It's probably cemented with Jared. Yeah, it's not my fault. I was a kid. Because look at all the excuses that Jared is coming up with. It's exactly what this Dan person is saying, right? And he's going to go to his grave living a delusion, just not really understanding life. He's going to, he see, because if he doesn't stand with Jared, if he doesn't stand with everything that his whole career stood for, if he has to dissolve that now, if he has to let it go now, if he has to have an awakening, if he has to have true growth, it just abolishes everything that he did in life and career and what he stood for, and it makes it all a farce. And that's, so people, this is partly why they double down, why they're in denial, right? He's losing too much, so it's easier for him psychically, spiritually. He has to remain committed to this rather than grow in the final stage of his life. I mean, because it's too painful for him. So he's not allowing spiritual growth. This is just in my very humble layperson opinion. I have had opportunity to see how counselors work with people and some of the machinations behind the scenes. Doesn't sound like this guy studied anything to do with counseling and therapy. He's maybe worked in various capacities, but it sounds like his profession was maybe lawyer. And when people study to be counselors, to get their master's degrees and things, there is a lot of ongoing study. They learn all different styles of therapy and techniques of therapy to help different people. So, for example, for people with bipolar disorder, they know that they need to learn various therapies that might involve speech and even tapping, or, blinking, all sorts of these really weird things that you don't understand if you haven't studied the science, if you don't understand neurology. They will study dialectical behavior therapy. They need to know how to treat people. They're not excusing what they've done. They help people face what they've done and understand it doesn't matter that they were abused too. They also, part of therapy is taking responsibility, I guess. I mean, I don't like the Christianity, the Christian bent of AA, but, in the way that people going through AA go through that 12-step program, and a lot of that is to, accept that they've done some things wrong and done wrong by people, and to make amends and to apologize. But, this Christian thing of, okay, so confession, penance, absolution. I mean, some Christians just, well, it doesn't matter what I do, I'll just go and go to confession and it'll be all right. I think this man is just sucked in. He's just a sucker because he's a do-gooder, because he's a Christian, or because, part of what he's saying, though, yeah, sure, he's saying wait and see. We'll wait and see what comes out, because he's kind of in a little bit of disbelief about the facts of the case, and this is what I was saying the other day, people need to be able to walk themselves through, have some imagination and really picture it. Sure, great, someone needs to be on Jared's side, maybe in a legal sense, maybe in a therapy sense, maybe in a sense of trying to have him come to terms with his culpability, but that's not what this guy is doing. Sorry, I need to get some water. Do you guys just want you can chat amongst yourselves for 3 secs. Excuse me. Aren't I rude? Fizzy water. Yeah, no, I did. It's just crazy. I wonder, was he around? I don't think he was. I don't know if he was. What sort of adventures he's had with AWP. I do wonder, was he there with the Suzanne Morphew crew? And did he see that debacle firsthand? I think he's... Yeah. I should have prepared a little bit before doing this live. I'm just in a knee-jerk reaction stage. So I don't quite have the words. So I should have really researched what I wanted to say, because I think there's a very particular... I think this guy, he fits into a very particular pocket of people. And he's got a very specific type of outlook, and these people are fanatics, and look how devastating. I have compassion for him. I have more compassion for the victims than this guy does, and I have compassion for him, though. He's saying the words, he's saying some sort of words about, look, I respect all victims and wish them all well. but it's coming across as very, very lean on true compassion, right? And Betsy's saying, oh, she couldn't have a chat with Mark while I was getting my water because she's doing, AK Rocks. I was just, okay, so when you wanted the was it Fossa Dam to be searched and it was getting a bit frozy. Okay, so I know that I was very hard on AK Rocks back then, just because this was just my opinion. I could be completely wrong. I understand that AWP manipulated, screwed over, fucked up, that, you know, they were so insincere about that search, about everything they were doing there. And I think in a way, it was a way for them to be just standing on top of people and just to, you know, assert their so-called, you know, dominance and that sort of thing, right, in a certain field. But, you know, I got in a lot of, I got on the wrong side of a lot of people and probably hurt AK Rocks, whom I greatly love and admire, because I thought at the time I could see that. Can I say, do you want me to say this, AK Rocks? Should I shut up? Can I just say something? Or I don't know. I don't want to. I don't know. I don't know. It's just us. It's just us. Can I say it? What I was saying at the time. I felt worried about AK at the time, and I felt his PTSD and a lot of emotion and a lot of discombobulation and everything. And I felt there was some sort of untethering at the time, and it was just whoa, intense. Not, you know, AK is a very strong person, right? And part of that strength is, I haven't been through the things that AK Rocks has in his life, but I have lived with CPTSD as well, right? And, you know, it takes particular strength because you can get through it. And actually, I tell you, you know, eventually it does lessen. It can take decades, but it lessens. It lessens. And I thought that I saw the strain of just a lot of shit happening behind those eyes, beyond just being there for Suzanne. And I thought it meant it was just bad timing. And, you know, heck, if Sam the Adventure Man could go and join up with AK and get out there again, that would be amazing, right? But I was really worried, and I said this, and I said, oh, you know, I can tell in your speech and what you're saying, I think there's something wrong. And at the time I was thinking, is this part of why the team left? I wasn't sure. And, you know, it was very intense. We all know we all went through some very intense things, and highs and lows, and relationships breaking and pulling and changing, and it was just crazy. We've all been through the mill for our parts in Suzanne Morphew's case. And it's her case. It is Suzanne's case. It's Suzanne's story. Sadly, it's always about, it was off-putting editing. And yeah, clearly we know what manipulators they are now. So yeah, I mean, we've seen it roll out in real time just recently, haven't we, with their visit to Truckee. Um, I mean, these guys are repulsive. And, the naivety of this guy, Down Under Diver Dan, Triple D. Do you know him, AK Rocks? Hi, Pigs Fly. Thank you. Do you know this Dan person, AK Rocks, and what he might have had to do with AWP? I think it just shows that people are, they really do just look surface. They look at flash and charisma, and they look at people's success, right? And they judge people to be better people because of it, and they make excuses for people. Yeah. And this poor guy, Dan, he's backing Jared as, oh, look, I stand with Jared because he was a victim and he was a kid, because he's had AK Rocks, this person, so you can look him up. You'll find him as Down Under Diver Dan. He's Australian. He seems to be in his 50s. He's got a terminal illness, and so he's been having his own adventures on his YouTube channel, but he's had dealings. He's been around AWP the whole time. He says for 4 years, and he adores Jared. He stands by Jared. He says, basically that, well, Jared is a victim. We've got to wait and see. He is disgusted by the YouTube monsters who've come out, who are just going to destroy this man who has done nothing but good and just try to make money because it's all for his family. And he's really clinging on to his philosophies because it's just going to undermine his own id, his own sense of self. Okay, it's going to make him question too much about his life, about the truth of life and what he's spent his life doing, which is trying to help men who have been through hard times and things like that. So he's a total exclusionist, and he just belongs to this group of people that they're dogmatic, which I've been accused of. As a child, that was on my school reports. Yes, him. Right. So he's leaving YouTube in disgust because of the backlash, and he's heartbroken. I mean, sure, yeah, be heartbroken. And as I was saying earlier, people need to, support Jared, maybe in terms of, well, he needs therapy. He needs to take responsibility and heal. But what Dan doesn't understand is Jared's not interested in that. He's never, ever going to be interested in that. Okay? Dan is not even allowing his mind to consider that Jared didn't stop abusing when after 17, he fails to see that Jared was abusing as an adult and perpetrating against a child. His point of view that he's just being stubborn about because of he doesn't want to destroy himself, right, at the end of his life. This is an opportunity for his own spiritual growth, his own growth, and yet he's not going to take it because of how he's lived his life, right? And it's maddening. I guess it's his prerogative, but at the same time, it's so sickening because these people, they do all the work, they do all the worry, they do all the regret and the remorse for the perpetrator, right? And you think he's put Jared in a godlike position, Betsy? Yeah, he seems to have him really high up on a pedestal, right? And he's throwing out these statistics about, well, okay, so at 10 years old, we can see that, maybe the child doesn't know right from wrong. And, but look, there are 13, 14-year-olds that are in prison for murder. They've been tried as adults. America's statistics on that. Now, AK Rocks might know a bit about this thing, yes, he was in a cult-like family. He was in a cult system through religious. I think it is a cult, not a religion, sorry. Or I think it's it's a cult. Or at least a religion that has a culture of things that are outside the bounds of a lot of normal social norms. But he was 17, and yes, he'd been involved in a really dysfunctional family. But what I'm saying is he's a 17-year-old male. He's had his surges of testosterone. He has been through puberty. He is probably of pretty much his adult size, and he might have had a damaged and immature mind, but he had the drives of an adult male, and he has been a predator onto a 9-year-old child who is an immature human. This isn't, he hasn't chosen a adult female human to predate on because he wants prey, he wants victim, he wants to hurt someone that he can have power and control over, and that he can damage, and it's his for the taking. It's his easy pickings. He can overpower, he can subjugate, he can force into silence because she is so young, and he knows she's going to have no support. I don't care if he's been created because of his own abuse. By the time he's 17, even 16, 17, this is a whole new ball game. This is not child upon child. This is not a 10-year-old boy and a 7-year-old girl, a 9-year-old boy and an 8-year-old girl. And a 9 and 10-year-old boy can be predatory. But America's prison has young kids, preteen and teens, young boys and girls in prison for murder, in prison for heinous violent crimes. And that's a fact. And Jared committed heinous acts against a very young child who wasn't even in double digits, who probably had not begun menstruation, who hadn't had her own sexual, who knows what delusion he was under, telling himself, right, to do it. Yeah, okay, possibly. But he seems like a very calculating person and someone that is all out for him. And forgave Draper with no concerns. We know again the trouble that I got into, didn't I? The commentary I made about D. Draper, right? Yeah, his sister is a disaster, Esbrook. She's put several feet wrong. We can see that she's living a pretty complicated, strange, confusing life. I think she's got some very complicated relationships in that family, and I think she's had a history of going to family, creating drama, push, pull. There's a lot of, I think, fabrication and confabulation when it comes to incidences that she's been relaying. I'm not saying, though, that she hasn't been damaged, etc. as well. But I certainly hope the cousin just moves forward unyoked from everybody and takes her own path on this, because this is her fight, her journey, her story, her justice. You know, I think she needs to be very cautious about what damage other people can do to her public image. Whether or not it will affect anything in the courts, I don't know. Yeah. But Dan, oh, he just, you know, he's taken it so personally. He's devastated, right? Because he's so yoked, and because it's the end of his life and it's his legacy, he's now got to double down, maybe, because his legacy is greatly affected in only his own mind, right? We see it all the time in parents that make excuses, and, you know, anyway, I should have been more prepared. Don't know what I'm saying. Which Draper are you talking about, though, Westbrook? Are you talking about Dustin? I mean, and the thousands of people that would tune into his lives so that he could do to Macy and Mallory what he did to a little toddler. Okay, humiliate them for sexual pleasure. I would put forward. You think, oh, the video of him that he took, you know, abusing that child just by throwing water in its face and things like that, her face, but you know, it was just about the humiliation. No, what do you think he was doing when he played those videos back? Yeah, Dusty, yeah. Farmer to win. I'm a bit concerned about the sisters GoFundMe. Apparently Farmer to win, it's been taken down. Jessica's taken down that GoFundMe. If she'd put it up for 20 or 40 or 50K, you know, she probably would have got the money. But the 1 million just, I think she's just in a state at the moment. I think she's in a state of stress. She's not grounded, and she's not making some very good decisions. And she needs somebody to be there and support her and rein her in, and to help them advocate in a way that is not going to allow them to lay down for all to use and abuse later. We know what YouTube is like, and social media, Reddit, etc., right? We know what it's like. We need, you know, they need to be protected from themselves so they can have a type of future that is free from all the videos and things that are going to be made out of them. They need to stop giving YouTubers fodder, you know, so if people decide that they don't like them, to give them fodder to, you know, just keep abusing them with their videos, right? I hope I didn't upset AK Rocks before, and just telling, but you know, that was in the past. That's what I was worried for in the past, that, you know, he needed downtime and hugs and self-care, and not to be putting himself under so much pressure. And I, you know, in AWP, you know, unfortunately he just got caught up with it, you know, unfortunately it was Jared that was the person that he was connecting with, and not other people that have integrity and morals. You know, and this is what I wanted to say about, you know, Diver Dan from Downunder, is that he doesn't realize what he's dealing with. He doesn't comprehend. He's dealing with a person that does not feel empathy or fear in the same way that a person that doesn't have the psychology of a Jared Lysak, he doesn't know what he's really dealing with. And it makes me think that when he says that he's been a man's counselor and thing, that he's just involved himself somehow through the church and maybe he's seen a lot of men have to go through divorce court, and because he was a lawyer, go through divorce court, and he's seen suffering, he's seen all the machinations of people that are quite sick, who, the narcissist abuse that goes on, and he's seen men lose a lot of money and lose contact with their children, and maybe, he's gotten involved this way through his Christian roots, and he started counseling through the church or something like that, and he's got a lot of doctrine and a lot of belief systems that are just not grounded in knowledge of psychotherapy and counseling, and he's just doling out a lot of bad advice. Was that when Sam, that was when he broke, wasn't it, and left, and that was a big clue, wasn't it, right? Because he was fed up. The victim, yes, the cousin, and but this is what people won't understand, maybe, maybe they're not going to be able to separate the two, and they will assume that the cousin was on board with that. I mean, you can tell there's a great level of immaturity there. It's kind of like the immaturity that it comes from drug abuse. Okay, let's just say this. It comes from, these manic, chaotic, just these type of lives that come from that, right? And that's what I see anyway. It's like when you're watching Amanda Bearden's interview with her cousin Candace and Candace's husband Jason on CO, whatever that channel is. I put it on my channel. Yeah, I agree, Betsy B. And see, Jared knows it's coming, and he knows he's going to lose because he made a pronk, right? Springbok out on the plains of Africa, right? They're being chased by a cheetah, by a lioness. We all know it's the lionesses that go out and bring home the bacon, or the springbok. They're going, boing, 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 boing. And just before they are killed, they give what is called a pronk. It's this final, desperate leap. And it's with every single thing. They probably die of a heart attack doing it. It's a huge leap. It's called a pronk, right? Well, I think Jared's been running from a few things for a while, right? And he's really amped up. We know what he was doing with Chucky now was pronking. He was making this final leap to grab everything. And what he's done is he's done what these, the white collar criminals do. And face it, Jared is a white collar criminal. I can say that because of his record. He's put everything into trust, so, these criminals that they put, the houses in only the wife's name. The Range Rovers are only in the wife's name. The land they own out in the countryside, it's all in the wife's name because they're supporting, they're protecting their ill-gotten gains. Okay, they've money laundered to get assets that and it's in someone else's name so that they're not going to lose it because they know eventually they're probably going to get caught and charged and taken to the cleaners, and they actually just have nothing and they just go bankrupt. And then they start again. They do it all again. And this is what Jared's been doing. He's bought up property and put that in his wife's name and trust for his children and things like that, right? Now, regular people do this. It makes sense to run things through trust, right? A lot of people run their lives through a trust, and they're just trying to be grown-ups and that sort of thing, right? But it's very obvious what Jared is doing and why, yeah. What else was I going to say before I had to go to work? It's automobile. Driving along in my automobile. My baby beside me at the wheel. Sorry, I'm such a dick. Yeah. But I just wanted to say that this is my point of view on this guy. He's not being supportive out of, I mean, because we can all, okay, most of people, we can understand. We can understand that, yes, Jared was created. He's someone who's been created. Hi, Jay. Can I just say something, right? I think you misunderstood something I said a long, long time ago, Jay. Now, if no one knows True Crime Recliner, you got to get with that program, although he deletes everything because he's an idiot. But he's not an idiot. He's actually a genius who creativity and, you know, just it's just so natural. It's like breathing. He makes things look really easy. You know, he's just in a zone, he's in a pocket, he's on a vibe. In a very, yeah, creative way. I mean, sure. Maybe slightly, what's the word? Well, you know, I don't want to say, you know, sexualized nearly in a teenage boy way, aren't you, Jay, sometimes with some of your songs. But no, very creative, very brilliant, very intelligent. And I used to try going into his lives at times. And I just made a throwaway comment, which was supposed to be, it was just actually, it was taken very seriously. But it was, I said, oh no, it was a bit boring sort of thing. Because I'd sign in and he'd have a guest and they'd be sitting there. He's sitting there. And I couldn't understand what was going on and nothing was happening. And I thought it was a Delphi chat or something. And then I tried it again and then another time. And I thought, oh. I don't know what's going on, but I loved all the videos and things anyway. Sorry. Used to call Jay my husband. But yeah, super creative in a way that how did the Humanimal song go? Humanimal. Yeah, that was, oh my God, that was just, yeah, that was great. How did that go, Esbrook? Do you remember? Oh, shut up. I know that can be taken two ways. Stop it. Oh, it's like a Sex Pistols type song. What was it? No, I can't. Now I've got Phenomena on my mind, but I know it wasn't that. Yeah, anywho. Yeah. Now I'm just sitting here, but I do this quite a lot to people, I guess, but I always make the excuse. Let me gather my thoughts. I wasn't prepared. Yeah, you do delete too much. Do you have them on a file, though, or do you upload them and then you delete to save space and you don't have them? Yeah, the song was... I'm starting to kind of be able to hear it in the back of my mind. Anyway, I felt honored. Oh, Jay. Look, that's true beauty, though, right? Maybe you were from Japan in a past life, and your philosophy is that all beauty just dies and disappears. Hasn't it just been a ride with this Richard Allen thing? I don't think I'll get onto that there. What else was I going to say today before I had to go? I just wanted to talk about Downunder Diver Dan and his delusions, and that it comes from doctrine of Christianity, and that he's been indoctrinated, and he's one of these do-gooders, you know, and also he's devastated because he's been developing his can't have any more D words, his legacy in conjunction with Jared, and his identity is way too wrapped up in Oh, that's right. And the way you said Humanimal, I just loved it. I wish I'd downloaded that onto my channel because it would have been could have had it as a theme song, right? Because Jay, I have been muse for another song, but I can't say it had positive connotations, right? It wasn't saying anything positive about me. It was called The Village Idiot, and it had a kazoo part. You tossed out your guitar. Do you still use the key? You're great on what? You don't have your guitar? I should send you one of my ukuleles. Heaven knows I'm not playing them. No, you didn't toss out your guitar? Oh, you don't have your guitar anymore. That is a tragedy. Why? You need to go to what? Go to a thrift store or somewhere and get an instrument. Or go and buy a ukulele. You've got keyboards, right? Yeah, you do. You need to, because it's an outlet for you. Nothing? I'm very sad to hear that. So, has anyone got anything they wanted to mention or ask? What time is it? Can I find out by doing this? 9:24. That's okay. Oh, I do have to go anyway. Yeah, Jay, I think you should do more shows. But I've kind of cleaved myself. Yeah, well, maybe with an axe. Away from people that you are quite enmeshed with for various reasons, but it's good to take people just I tried making a thrifting video the other day, Jay, but it was just crap. I really would need to be able to do them how I would want to. It's very difficult on my phone, and my editing is, well, it's using the pause button. So, stops that. And it just never comes out very good, and they're not very interesting. And I just wasn't satisfied with it. But I did actually go to a thrift store the other day. I haven't been for a long time. I haven't really felt like it. I've got nowhere to put anything anymore. I'm trying to get rid of things. I mean, I could literally have a whole room in my house with my clothes and shoes, and I've gotten rid of a lot, and some I regret losing. But I don't know where I am with fashion at the moment. I've lost myself because I never go anywhere. I have no life, okay? I don't mind saying that. You like the raw style stuff? Yeah. I like the 2 rings. So that is actually it's a moonstone, and it flashes this really amazing, it's just not going to do it, this mauve purple sort of thing. It's beautiful. So it's silver. It's just like and then this one was a threaded thrifted wedding band, silver. It's, what is it? I don't know. It's got rose gold in it, little leaves in it. And these are just from Mimco. I don't know if you guys have Mimco. Got a few of those, and those are, I don't know what that crap is. I'm always putting rings on as if I've got nice hands, but I've got hands that change oil and do gardening, and they're really, hands and necks really show your age. I'll become one of these women that starts taping up their neck. No. $100. Oh my God. And Esbrook's shoes deteriorate, right? You can't store them, right? They've got to be worn. And I've been trying to get rid of cupboards of shoes, and I really regret it when some of my favorite Gary Castle's mules and things finally hit the dirt because I wear them to death. But yeah, I just don't have them because I'm not working in an environment where, I'm going out and making presentations now, working in a nice showroom, or, just even working in an administrative environment or anything like that. And, and in past careers where there's been a lot of launches and parties and shows and things like that, right? And you can have a wardrobe that you can really enjoy, and then going out a lot and going to all different things. And and now I don't go anywhere. Not that I don't want to, I kind of don't, I keep putting it off. I've just become very hermetic and very insulated and isolating myself. You don't either, Jay? We would get each other we would be in a lot of trouble if we went out on the coffee and TV. Yeah, coffee and TV. I like to do activities and things, and I'll tell you, okay, so this is just makes me really emotional because a lot of where I get my strength and sustenance from I don't have anymore because I'm not able to get around like I would really like. And normally every week I would be somewhere, a forest, a little town, beaches, I'd be surfing and everything, and I just haven't been able to have that independence for ages, and it's just really affecting my mental health. It doesn't allow me to get out of the doldrums. I remember you putting up a video of dancing. Did I? Oh God, I don't remember half the things I've done, Jay. You know what I mean? I've been a complete wacko on YouTube. Am I going to be late for work? Nearly. I've got a few minutes. Dancing in a field by the beach. I was dancing in a field by the beach. Are you making that up? When was that? Dancing in a field. Dancing in a field by the... I mean, it's totally something I would do. Ride horseback down a beach. Run up and down a beach. Get into the ocean in a storm. In Sydney, there's a beach called Maroubra, and the surfy gang there sort of thing are the Bra Boys. That's what that beach is kind of famous for, I guess. And I'd go out there during storms because this beach has this sweep, this rip that just goes north-south. It doesn't, and I would run in and just allow this, and we are talking surging, just hundreds of meters of white water, huge waves, the storm's all on, and I'd just run in my bikini and just get swept the 1.5 Ks down to the south end, run up again, and it was music in a park. Oh, holy shit. You know what? People are always telling me things. And we know Joman112, he's always even quoting me from video. I don't even remember. He can quote things that I've said. Well, you said once, and and I'm like, did I? I have no idea. Yeah, I'm going to have to get going. Oh, I'd love to give you all hugs. My dog hugs me, but wet noses and everything, I'm not into that. Yeah, but it's just so important to connect with nature, to get out and earth. I know, because that was a river. Yeah, she was like I remember that very well. That was actually at River Beach. Yeah, it's at South Bank, and I think I'd just gotten off the eye of Brisbane, and I'd done a talk about Suzanne Morphew, maybe they were just about womanhood or about something, and then I walked along and I just heard the noise of the music in the distance, and she just started playing, and then and then she sees that there's two women there. So she goes, I think it's 90s time. Yeah. Well, how true she was. That's right. And then she played Murder on the Dance Floor. Better not steal the groove, DJ. Gonna burn that house right down. I'm not singing in tune. I can sing in tune, but not all the time. No, I was in a yellow top and a red. Oh, yes, and another woman had a green top, I think, on, and black. Yeah, she was a redhead. Yeah, that was just sweet and fun. And of course, I get trolled to this day about that, That's how people are. It was just supposed to be, it was just a moment. It was just a real moment. And it's like, oh, you think you're so good. Yeah, I get a lot of shit for everything that I do. And it's probably quite understandable. I'm a very strange person. Not as strange as Jay, but Jay's strange in a very, he's got a lot of aptitude for things. And I think that makes it, he just takes it to the level, don't you, Jay? Oh, thanks, Mark. I wasn't trying to be anything or do anything, and I'm always embarrassing myself, but I think if you that is just who I am. It's yeah, and I'm not able to live as the free spirit that I really feel like, but I've got to take responsibility for that. But little moments like that meant a lot to me too, and I was just wanting to share them, and there wasn't any vanity, and it's not about me thinking I'm anything at all, right? Because it's being very vulnerable, and it's opening yourself up to all sorts of attack and everything. But I don't show myself for those people. I show it for you guys, right? Yeah, I don't think I'm anything at all, anything special at all. I don't think I've got anything special to say or offer, but I want to be here having conversations. That's all it's about. Anyway, I have to go to work. But I'll be working maybe later. I don't know. It's a longer. Veep! Just when I gotta go, you are my authentic friend too, S. Brooke and MK Ultra, Mark, and you, Jay. And I hope, I never know when Jay's, if he's sort of pulling my leg or, if I'm, the brunt of jokes and things like that. That's, I always feel like that. Time. Right. I must leave my house in 10 minutes. So, but yeah, there's so much to talk about. You never pull my leg. Pull my finger. That was puerile, wasn't it? But you are puerile. You know it. You are puerile. But that's okay. Yeah, be safe and happy, everybody. I feel like I'm going to start. I will be doing some more lives again, just for whoever wants to come in and chat about things, because there's so much going on at the moment now about stuff, even things that I've really pulled back from because I'm just doing my head in, which is Daybell and everything, all the shenanigans around the court cases. And sorry, I shouldn't put my ugly cry face up into your grill. There's just so much going on. We've got Richard Allen's hearing at the end of this month. That's going to be super, super interesting. Of course, we all know to expect it. We knew that people were going to go and invade Kathy Allen's safety. She's had to leave her house. She's probably down living with her daughter, Brittany. They're probably fearing for their lives, their very lives. Okay, this is disgusting. The issue is Richard Allen. Did he do it? What did he do? How did he do it? And is he going to pay for it, right? And yet, people just take it upon themselves. They've been driving up and down that street, stalking the house. They drove Kathy Allen away. She left her work, so she can't support herself now. She had to leave her job because of fears for her safety, because of these fuck faces that take things real life. I have feared for my safety just from having a point of view. And, imagine, oh God, imagine being a person who's married to the accused murderer of Abby and Libby. I mean, she has got reason to feel scared. Look at what's happening to at Quentin Simon's house. The law have finally stepped in to shut that down. Anyway, I really have to go. Thank you so much. I love you guys, and I will speak to you soon. Maybe even tonight after work, if I get my thoughts together better about a few things that I wanted to say that I did really badly here. Love you too, Jay. Bye, Veeb. Love you. Love you, Esbrook. Love you, Mark. And I feel like I might have just missed someone. AK Rocks. How could I forget you? And Betsy B. That's who I was looking for. I love you all. Bye.